Tag TV, and Tag Radio. Technology now has a voice of innovation and information. Get it on www.tagtvonline.com. Each year, the Georgia Research Alliance and the Technology Association of Georgia join forces to empower growth of new companies. The objective? To strengthen and expand Georgia's strategic high-tech clusters. The GRA Tag Business Launch Competition. It began just a few years ago, but has rapidly become one of the major annual events of the year that not only attracts, motivates, and supports the most dynamic entrepreneurs in Georgia, but also the most prestigious judges of any event of its kind across the nation, and now has achieved national acclaim within the global investment community that is more than ever recognizing Georgia as a great place to launch and grow high-tech business. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, 2008, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. The winner of the 2008 Georgia Tag Business Launch Competition and the award of $100,000 and a suite of professional services valued at an additional $200,000 is ATM Direct. On today's edition of Tech Talk, Tino introduces you to winning company president Nandan Sheth. Prior to joining ATM Direct, Nandan co-founded Harbor Payments, where he served as Chief Operating Officer. Harbor Payments grew to become one of the largest and fastest-growing e-receivables and e-payable solution providers in the United States. American Express acquired Harbor Payments in late 2006, where Nandan then served as a vice president and general manager. Serial entrepreneur, executive at banks, professional services firms, and Fortune 1000 corporations, Nandan has held senior positions with Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, and AT&T Solutions. The Tech Talk turns to the 2008 winner of the GRA Tag Business Launch and the visionary courage and steadfast conviction of the startup entrepreneur as Tino speaks with ATM Direct President Nandan Sheth.
Nandan, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Good morning, Tino, and thank you for having me.
First thing I should say is congratulations, winning the business launch. That's a pretty big deal.
We're very excited, very honored, and still trying to get over the shock of winning the event.
The elation and the shock. Well, that's great. I think our listeners, first of all, let's bring them all up to speed about your company. What does the business do, and why is it significant?
Sure. Tino, we're ATM Direct is an alternative payment provider for online merchants. We are in the same category as the likes of PayPal, Bill Me Later, and Google Checkout. And we're the only alternative payment provider that is bringing PIN debit to online merchants via a software-only PIN pad that plugs into the merchant's checkout process. This is significant because we save merchants close to 50% on interchange fees. We provide merchants a real-time transaction and guaranteed funding. And most importantly, we provide merchants and consumers a much more reduced online fraud count or online risk count, which is equally as significant as the economic value of the solution. We're very different to other providers and other companies out there, is we're the only provider that offer PIN debit online through a software-only model. The software-only model is protected by an issued patent, and unlike other alternative payment providers, we do not require our consumers to escrow their funds or enroll into a program. We ask them to utilize what they already have in their pocket, which is their debit card, which is the power of the payment type and the power of the adoption that we hope to see once we launch and roll out the product.
So is this a new technology to the world? You guys have come up with this, and is the timing right for it? You know, why did you found the company at this point in time?
I think, firstly, we purchased a patent. We purchased a patent that has been around for many, many years. It's a very well-defined and very well-structured patent. Number two, we strongly believe that the timing is right for this type of payment, specifically because of the economic environment at at a macro level that we're going through. The liquidity crisis with regards to what's going on in the credit market is impacting consumers. Consumers are revolting against credit card debt, the high-priced credit card debt specifically. And a lot of consumers, to stay out of the credit card debt trap, are migrating to their debit cards. We're seeing for the first time in the history of the Internet that debit cards are outgrowing credit cards in terms of purchases made online. And in terms of volume, debit volume nationally and internationally is larger than credit volume. So with those factors and with the factors around the merchant deploying and soliciting alternative payment providers, we absolutely feel that this is the right time. We feel that a perfect storm is brewing, and we feel that we're right in the middle, and we feel that we've got the technology solution and, quite frankly, the experience management team that is required to commercialize the solution.
Yeah, your personal background with Harbor Payments and Goldman Sachs sounds like it plays right into this new area. So you had a lot of knowledge of this industry going in?
Most certainly. This is an industry that I've been in and around for 15 years. I've got both domestic and international experience. You probably gauge from my accent, I'm from Europe. And yes, so being a co-founder of Harbor Payments, seeing that grow from zero to the levels that it grew at, and seeing the exit with a large FI, and frankly creating the opportunity and the jobs that we created in Atlanta, I feel that the experience that we've got in terms of the management team, number two, the location of Atlanta, Georgia, and number three, the domain itself, it really plays into the timing.
Well, this is obviously a significant market in terms of potential. What are you thinking along the lines of in terms of market penetration? How long will it take you to get into this market? What are your near and then your longer-term business goals for ATM Direct? Sure.
Having heard small companies pitch to me, Tino, I'm not a big advocate of telling you how large market is and us getting X% of that market. But I'll break that rule, and I will tell you that no one's going to argue the fact that online commerce is large. It's close to $200 billion domestically, and it's infinitely larger internationally. We believe that if that market is primed for a shift to a lower cost and a lower risk payment type, we see that with regards to the merchants that we talk to, the bank issuers that we talk to, and the consumers that we talk to. So we feel that in terms of addressing the market, we've got a very, very specific and very, very in-tune solution, because we're not requiring consumers to change their checkout behavior. This is very, very fundamental to our business model. We're ensuring that consumers have a frictionless checkout process. We're ensuring that consumers are not getting redirected. We're ensuring that consumers don't have to sign up and escrow their funds into an alternative payment provider. We're basically leveraging the same card that they're using today. And a lot of merchants, Tina, will tell you that already they're seeing 30 to 40% penetration of debit versus credit. We're leveraging the same transactions that are out there and shifting them to PIN debit, which is happening at the point of sale.
So let's move to the Business Launch Competition. 75 companies started, and when the dust settled, ATM Direct won. It was a pretty intense competition, sitting in it from my vantage point. How did you learn about it, and what was your experience with the process, and how will you winning this competition help your business?
I've used TAG as a support network for many, many years. I've got a lot of respect for what the organization stands for and what it's grown to. So being familiar with TAG and being familiar with some individuals within the management team at TAG, we heard about the competition through some members of TAG. They actually approached Danielle Duclos, who's our head of marketing. Danielle came to me and said, there's this fairly well-recognized competition that's becoming nationally recognized. I think we should enter. I said, great, let's enter. Let's not distract ourselves too much from the business. Danielle took it upon herself to ensure that she put together all the requirements. So I got to give her a lot of credit for this. But getting involved was through word of mouth. Number two, Tina, I've got to tell you, however experienced you are as an entrepreneur, it's very, very difficult to put pen to paper and basically craft out your business plan and craft out your value proposition, your elevator speech, and your marketing message all in one go. As most honest entrepreneurs will tell you, that's an evolutionary process, and it happens over time. It's not that you sit down one day and say, we're going to prepare all these things before we launch the company. So what it really helped us to do was hone in on our messaging. It forced us to put pen to paper, and it ensured that when we're out there talking to our customers, talking to merchants, talking to venture capitalists and private equity firms, we've got our message down exceptionally well. The business plan itself, we're leveraging that business plan as we go out at the end of this year and solicit and seek new capital. And our experience through the competition was extremely powerful for the following reasons. We received a lot of mentoring. And, you get into the state where you think you know most of what you need to know as an entrepreneur. Right. I assure you, the mentoring that we received was probably the most valuable aspect of the process. Number two, we had formidable competition. We had some companies that had been around for quite a while, but other companies that, to me, have game-changing technologies. And to be in that mix of companies, to be around judges of the caliber at the semifinal and finalist level, and then come in and win the competition is truly humbling, and it's truly an honor.
Well, we're very pleased that you won. We have a lot of listeners on this radio program that are entrepreneurs, and we always hear that it's tough raising dollars, kind of beyond the launch, if you will, in Georgia. What's your experience been with that? Can good companies find venture dollars here?
I absolutely think so, and I think it's down to the quality of the management team, the quality and the immediateness of the proposition, and last but not least, the idea. So I think if you've got those three things, I think VC firms currently are looking to park their money. Number two, they're looking for good management teams with credibility, and they're looking for ideas that can have an impact fairly quickly. So around that, I think we're pretty much in the sweet spot. And for us, the Business Launch Competition has been a phenomenal boon. We're getting cold calls from private equity and venture capital firms on the East Coast and the West Coast, some of which I don't have any relationships with, asking about our business. And guess where they heard about it? They heard about us being the winners of the TAG GRA competition. Okay. So for us, Tino, it's been great. But I think the only piece of advice that I would have for the emerging companies is there is a terrific angel network in Atlanta. And, you sometimes want to look internally before you look externally. I think Atlanta is very entrepreneurial friendly, and I've experienced that. So look inside the Georgia and Atlanta first. You'd be surprised the quality of the money that you'll find.
There you have it, listeners. There are ways to generate money, and it's being proven by ATM Direct once again here. One of the things that Georgia Research Alliance is they worked with us to found this program. We receive the dollars indirectly through the state to Georgia Research Alliance to TAG, and then we're very happy to give out this $100,000 each year, plus the $200,000 plus. Actually, it was $234,000 this year in value and suite of services. GRA and the state are certainly interested in companies growing here in Georgia. So, what might we have in store with ATM Direct? What are you looking at in terms of people on the ground here? I know this is a little bit of crystal ball, but what do you think if things go well?
Firstly, I think the $100,000 is going to be tremendously helpful to us. We're a young company. We're a company that's bootstrapped. We have no institutional capital. So we've got a variety of our employees on discounted salaries or no salaries. And the $100,000 is absolutely going to be used to reinforce our product, build the next generation of our product, and ensure that we have scalability. As you can imagine, we want to be running hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of transactions on our platform. And if we want to do that, we've got to have a fault-tolerant and very scalable platform. So the first thing I'd like to say is not only is the actual cash going to be deployed, but the services, Tino, that you guys have on offer. I was amazed at the caliber of some of those companies. One of the companies that I won't mention, but is an audit firm, we've already contracted with them for what's called our SAS 70 audit. We would have never got to that point unless we had the services contributed on the front end. So it works. Number two, our goal is to be the largest alternative payment provider through a non-escrow or a non-wallet-based scenario. With that said, I mean, the sky's the limit. I hate to kind of throw out numbers,
right.
But I can tell you that we want to be very large. We've got some, we've got some great pedigree in Atlanta for payments companies. Look at CheckFree, look at Global Payments, look at Elevon. If we can be half their size, I'll be very happy.
Well, that's great. We've been talking today with Nandan Sheth, the founder and the CEO of ATM Direct. Congratulations again, Nandan, and best wishes and best of luck with the growth of your company.
Tino, thank you for your time. We've enjoyed it.
Thank you.